Welcome all you beautiful crack dealers out there. Welcome to the LowkeyLegend YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be my first ever life story, and this one's going to be quite a big one, I guess. I mean, I don't really know, but I think it's a good way to top the YouTube channel off with the first story. And this story is actually going to be covering the first time I smoked weed. So this is going to be a hopefully decent story. Sit back, relax, get all nice and naked for Papa, and let's jump on into this story. So it all starts off about sophomore year, the winter time. So it was about halfway through sophomore year. My friend invites me over to his house, and we've been talking about it for a while because a week prior to him inviting me to my house, he actually smoked for his first time with his cousin, and his cousin was coming over the following weekend, and he said he was bringing some bud and wanted me to come over and hang out with him. So I was like, let's rock this shit, baby. I'm down for the cause. Anyway, meet him at his house over the weekend. I think it was a Friday. I don't remember the date, but went over there, and his cousin ended up coming through an hour after I did, and it was about 8 o'clock at night at this point. His parents were not home. They were actually at his uncle's house. Conveniently, his uncle lives across the street, so that was awesome. And so his cousin comes through and pulls out a pill bottle full of weed, and he had about an eighth in there, he said, and that was the first time I've ever even seen weed, and it was an eighth, and I really didn't know how much it was, and it really didn't look like a lot to me. I was like, really, that's it? I was like, I mean, that's straight. I've never done it before. I didn't know what to expect at all, but that is a lot of weed, a very lot. So I'm in the kitchen expecting the bud that we got for the first time, and I've never seen it before, like I said, so I was interested in how it looked. I was smelling it, I was looking at it. My first time smelling it, I remember it just smelled like a plant to me. It smelled like a tree. If I went outside and smelled like an oak tree or like a pine, it was more of a pine tree. If you smelled a pine tree, that's kind of how the first time weed smell that I got experience to. And it's dope because now when I smoke, I know what strain it was when I first got high, and when I smoke it, I'm like, damn, this tastes just like the weed I smoked when I first got high. I love it. But anyway, we were in the kitchen looking at it, and we needed something to smoke out of, and a couple actually weeks prior to this, his uncle gave him a piece to smoke out of, which was like probably a 6-inch bong. It was really small. It was glass, but the thing was, it wasn't a bong. We didn't realize what it was, and it was actually a dab rig. So he needed to convert it into a bong so we can use it, and we didn't know how because it was just a normal glass nail. And even when you buy dab rigs in store, I don't know who the fuck uses those shitty ass glass nails. Those are awful. Terrible. But that's what it was at the time, but we had no idea. So we needed an idea for something to smoke out of. So we were looking around, and his cousin came up with an idea. He said he's done this before. They did explain to me that it was, not the best way to smoke weed, and because it is pretty harmful for you. I wouldn't suggest anyone out there who ever is thinking about smoking weed for the first time ever try this. But we ended up drinking an Arizona iced tea can, those dollar Arizonas, and we drank the whole thing, made sure it was all clean in the inside, and then we squashed it in half. We got a toothpick, or I forget what we got. We got a hot knife or something, and we just started poking little holes in the middle of the Arizona iced tea can, kind of where it bent in. So all we would have to do is sprinkle the weed on top of the Arizona iced tea can, and then put your mouth where you would normally drink it, and then light it the inside of the creased Arizona iced tea can where the weed would be, right on top of the holes that you punched. So it was kind of a weird first time smoking, but we were packing some crazy fat bowls, not even gonna lie. So the first time I smoked, I did really get the full effect. I was really feeling it. So what we did is we made the Arizona iced tea rig, I guess you could say, and we went right outside the kitchen, and it was the winter, so it was very cold out, and I believe it wasn't snowing, but it was very snowy outside at the time, so there was snow around, and it was me, his cousin, and him in this little 3-man rotation right outside his kitchen door. So his cousin takes the first hit, roasts it, starts roasting it, shows me how to do it, and then he passes it to his cousin, which was my friend, and my friend hits it, he gets high as fuck off it, passes it to me, he starts coughing, and then I remember my first hit, guys, out of this Arizona can was so fat, and I held it in, and immediately, as soon as I was holding it in, I started coughing so bad. I could not hold that shit in for my life. It went around the roto. I passed it to my friend's cousin, and he hit it. He passed it to my friend, and before you know it, it was already back in my hands, and I was still coughing my fucking lungs out, guys. I'm still coughing my lungs out, and I continue to hit it. I take another fat ass rip, pass it to my friend's cousin, and I'm still coughing my lungs out, guys. I swear to God, I coughed so much. I really thought I was gonna die, but I managed to do it. I remembered they kept telling me to breathe. I'm glad I had someone there who was a little bit educated on smoking, you know, to at least tell me to breathe a lot. And I remember I always kept taking deep breaths, like I was gasping for air. It was funny, but I mean, I got so fucking obliterated. You have no clue. So it comes back around maybe 3 or 4 times, and then we decide that it's enough, and we're all high as shit at this point, guys. So we end up going back into the house, and we were debating on packing another one or not. So we're sitting down in the kitchen right now, debating on if we should pack another one. I remember sitting down in my friend's kitchen, and I look at my hands, right? And I start to squeeze them like I'm squeezing something. And I remember every time I squeezed my hands, they moved so slow, like it was a delayed reaction. I will never forget that. I looked at my hands, and they felt so numb. And every time I clenched them, it's like my mind told me to clench them, but a second later, they decide to clench. You know, it was the weirdest feeling ever. I don't know. And then I do remember that this was a body high, because my whole body felt so nice. I remember walking around the house. I couldn't feel my legs. It was so dope. Oh my God, it was some insane shit. After that, I do believe we packed another one, but this time we actually made a different little device to smoke out of. So we've actually packed the Arizona again, and then I think my friend, I forget the exact thing he made, but it was like a pen one-hitter. I remember it was a one-hitter of some sort. I don't know how he made it, but we packed it a couple times while we were out there, while we had the Arizona iced tea can going around. So we went out there for a second session. I do remember when I went out for the second session, I did not smoke as much. I didn't take as much hits as I did the first time, because I knew I was already high as shit. So after we're done smoking the second session, we walk in the crib, put everything away, throw everything out. Dude went back to his car to put the weed back, and me and my buddy went upstairs to play Xbox. Dude, I remember we played Call of Duty Black Ops 1, dude. We were fucking shit up. Oh my God, it was so dope. He's got a nice ass TV too, so we were just sitting there high as shit playing Xbox, dude. It was the best feeling ever, man. I swear to God. And I do remember in the winter, I was not driving at this time, and he does live quite far away from me. So I actually had to call to have my mom come and pick me up. I think we started smoking around 7 or 8 o'clock, and my mom was picking me up at like 9:30 or 10. So we got done smoking about 8:30. So we go upstairs and start gaming, and I think I called my mom to come and pick me up around 10, and she did pick me up, but I'm gonna save a couple of these stories for later. Basically, my mom did kind of have a feeling that I was high, but she did not catch me. She did not catch me. She didn't even question me about it. When I did first get caught, she did, you know, question me about it. She was like, I knew the first day we were by your friend's house how you were. I don't know. It was a long story, but I'm gonna explain it later. The first time I get caught. That'll be a later video, but hey guys, this is the first time I ever smoked weed, and I can honestly say it was a really, really good experience for me. You know, it wasn't the smartest way to smoke, wasn't the safest way, but hey, we had a good time. We got high as fuck, and that's basically what all it was for. You know, we were just hanging out, chilling, minding our own business. You know, we weren't smoking, going in the streets, you know, doing crazy shit. It was a nice, chill session for my first time, and I will always remember that. And that was the first time I ever got introduced into weed, and ever since then, oh, it's been a very, very tricky slope for young legend here. I'll explain some more stuff in the future though, guys, but hey, hopefully you enjoyed this story. If you did, drop a like. I'll catch you guys soon. Subscribe for more, boys and girls, and thank you for watching. Peace out, boys.